Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. Probably not going to be the most exciting video. Let me close Firefox because I don't want to use too much CPU. Not going to be the most exciting video because I'm building up a batch of 5200 controllers. And exciting news, yesterday I had a chipped tooth here when I was I think it was about 13 years old. My older brother jumped on my back. My teeth came down on this big TV set and chipped this front tooth. So now, my dentist, this is actually a fake one right here, went through and fixed my tooth. So now I can smile and not be so self-conscious about it with that big old chunk missing out. So, yay! So, that's exciting. What's less exciting is the endless pile of joysticks. So I built a joystick, and 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 a joystick. So what I try to do is build the subcomponents up as a batch, because the more you change your tools, the slower you go. So I have 4 orders in the queue right now, and 2 of them are dual sticks, so we have to build up 2 joysticks for each of them. So that gives me enough for my immediate orders and 1 to go on. So, and I have more joysticks to modify, but yeah, that's very exciting. So now I'm just building up cable harnesses. Again, trying to build up a batch of parts so we don't have to go back and forth. There it is. So the dual sticks, you actually use a little bit shorter. Let me move you around this a little bit. That's my son's name. A little shorter harness than the single sticks, because the single sticks you actually have to go all the way across to hit all the joystick buttons. But on the dual sticks, you just have to go along the side, kind of sneak it up a bit. So make those all kind of the same length. So in case anyone's never really worked with it before, these are this is IDC cable, and then these are little DB15s. You have to be mindful if you ever order these. There's also DR15, which is not the same as DB15, because the DR15 is something like a VGA monitor, a super VGA monitor uses. So there's actually 3 rows of pins. This only has 2 rows. So, but this is what the original 5200 used, a regular old DB15. And if you ever crimp one of these, that's your tool. This is a hand crimping tool. What I like to do is a lot of times I don't include a little sticky layer there. What I do, I just take a little bit of this pressure sensitive adhesive. Some you buy actually come with that little adhesive strip, but the ones I buy do not. And the reason you do that is you don't want the IDC cable walking off on you. So if you ever work with these and they don't have a little strip, you get this stuff is like a really thin double-sided tape. It's actually, I don't know if they marked it or not, it's a 3M pressure sensitive adhesive, and mark what it is on the inside. This was like old stock I got years ago from a previous employer, because the stuff has a finite shelf life. But I am not making anything life critical here, so it's just holding the IDC cable in place so it doesn't walk off. And like I said, I like putting a little strip in there so long. Doesn't need to span the whole thing, just enough to go across there. You get a couple more on there. Here's my schmutzy scissors here I use for this. Because if you go cutting double-sided tape and pressure-sensitive adhesive, you're just going to wreck your poor scissors. So pick a pair you don't like or don't care about, because you will wreck them. Dave's helpful tips for the day. Alright. fact, I'll make all 4 of these up right now. I actually had to make up 6 of these, but I'm going to make the dual stick harnesses up first because those are all the same length cables. So yeah, so I build up an order of controllers. I just go through and I try to batch them out. When you get them in the mail, they'll often have this is the actual clamp that comes down and it clicks on. It's like half-assed on there right now. So you see there's actually little grooves in there. It actually lines up with the 50,000 spacing of IDC cable. I can't remember what IDC stands for. I don't comprehend. I doubt it means that though. So what you do is you just throw a little tiny thin layer of double-sided tape, or if it comes with, sometimes you see like a little gray strip that runs along the back. So you don't have to do this step, but they charge you a lot more money for that style. Or you can even buy the cables already made up. So in my case, I start my, this one's got a brown on it. I buy 16 conductor. They don't make 15 conductor, so I get 16 conductor, and I just pull off the brown wire. So I start on red, the rainbow IDC cable, and you just, if you look at the connector itself, hard to see. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but there's actually a little 1 here. It tells you pin 1, and I want to make sure my red wire is on pin 1, and I like having it come out the top like this. So take this guy, I'll double check before you insert it one last time, is once you crimp these, they don't really like coming back apart. Because how these work is there's two little channels. Let me show you how they work. Is there's 2 little channels in here in the top portion. So it's a mating feature. So you get these little grooves here. Those actually line up with these little bitey teeth. So as you crimp in, the wire or actually conductor will go between the 2 little teeth and form an electrical connection. So, all right. So double check my colors again. So 1 is on to my right. I like having the wire come out the top. Doesn't need to be perfectly straight unless you're kind of lean and retentive, and then we'll do that. Where'd you go, little guy? 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th one? No. 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 Well. Oh, it's on the other end. It's already on there. All right, so the little grooves line up with the. Again, it doesn't need to be perfectly straight. It makes no difference. So my 1 is to my right. So I want the 1 going this way. You can use a vise for doing this, but if you get a purpose-made tool for it, you kind of just run that in there, and it gives you advantage if it'll if there's any misalignment, it'll kind of level itself out. You just crimp it together. You gotta wait for 2 clicks. There you go. And that is your, see how it's mashed in there now? That's your IDC connection. And all you do is, these always come with a little strain relief. And you pass it over the back like that. Okay, sorry about that. My little dog needed to go potty. So I am back. So yeah, when you're done, you just clip on this little strain relief on the back. So when it pulls on it, it pulls against the strain relief, not against your crimps. So we'll do this a few more times. And I think I'll finish up these little IDC cables. The end, the DB15s on the end here. And then I'll demonstrate what a DuPont connector looks like and how they work. My original design, I actually did a, it was all like solder joints, butt joints, stuff like that, and went through a couple different iterations. I had this little breakout board I used to use. I still have some of them left. I might use those up eventually on the, oh, why can't I get this to come up? Use those eventually on the, time to put the nerd gear on. Like, I occasionally have refurbished, or not really refurbished, they're just, there was my CNC chews up part of the top of a enclosure and just basically rework it and sell it as a discount. But I found a really good brand of CNC bits that work well. Okay, so this one is a brown. Take that off. Let's see. Much easier to see. Red. All right. Like this. Again, same tool. You'll hear 2 clicks. It finally makes this might cut it much more flush. You can see how it's nice and flush there. Up. Then the stream relief. If you ever need to take one of these apart, you probably won't take it apart without destroying it, because you have to take the stream relief off and then gently pry back these, and these they're very brittle. They tend to snap off. So luckily they're inexpensive enough, so if you do whoopsie doodle, it won't matter that much. That. Turning 51 this year, so forgive me, I'd have to, the magnification really helps. My hands are nice and steady, but some of this close work, even with the bifocals, it just tends to be a touch difficult. I do like wearing bifocals, it helps a lot. Again, red, right, this way. Yeah, it's a pretty straight cut as it is. See, when you put the little double-sided tape on there, it just stays on. Otherwise you have to like pinch it, hold it, make sure it's not walking away on you. Much better likelihood of making a good crimp. That was a nice good crimp first time. Double click. Oops. Put the stream relief on there. Like so. And once I get through this batch of controllers, I'm getting my Intellivision prototype controller soon, the 16 way, so I know there's a lot of interest in that controller. I've been keeping a mailing list. If you want to be added, I'll probably add a link in the description, or you can just email me at retro@cyberfreak.com, and that's with a PH, not an F. And I will add you to the list. Maybe I'll make a ninja form. That's another way to do it. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, WordPress, you can get, there's all sorts of plugins you can add. That's what my website runs off of. one of them's ninja forms, and you could just create a form and people could just add their name and stuff, and off you go. So that's your IDC cables there. I'll actually keep this on. Alright, so those are all crimped. Next up we have the actual wiring to do. And my schematics. Let me see what I'm doing here. Come on, lightning. Actually, I'm really happy with this new computer. Let's see. Save right. Red on 1. Alright, so red is column 1. Okay, good. So, how this works is internal to the unit is just basically a Neo Geo extension cable is what I use for my cabling. It's also 15 pin. It's got a nice long insertion as well, so it works really well. But now I need to interface with the keypad and the joystick and the buttons in there. So what I end up doing is on this style of keypad, it just terminates into like a DuPont style connector. What I do is, even on the traditional phone keypad, I solder in a 7-pin connector just like this, and just flip the pins around so it all mates up. So, alright, so enough dabbling there. So I'll show you how you work these things. So you need decent wire stripper. I use a Asus Tyrannica, whatever the heck that is. Something got good ratings. So this one, let's see, this one's going to be going. I'll leave these a little long because I have to plug into the there. So cut it. This particular stripper strips it to the right length for an IDC connection. Lots of schmutz gets in there. Alright, so there's the fun part. This is if we do IDC crimps, this one does 4 different sizes, and this one particularly is a 0.3 square millimeter crimp. And I want a male. Let's do up this one first. This is kind of fun. So you take these little guys, you bend them back a little bit, you line it up in the tool, you kind of come up a little bit with it, and you don't want to insert the wire too deep, because the whole point of it, I'll show you in a second. So you go to crimp these things, you get it in, that goes into there, not too deep, and then you crimp it. And when you hit the end of the crimp, it actually allows you to release the crimp. This one batch of connectors is not my favorite. I tend to bend a little bit. And I'll switch to the next row over there. So let me see if I can zoom this camera up a little bit. Did I go the wrong way? That's the question. There we go. So you can actually see. Let me see if I can get the zoom. Yeah. I know this thing can do macro. There she goes. So the whole goal is, you see how there's a insulation there? It's captured, and the actual conductors are in a tiny little crimp there. So that's what a good crimp looks like. And of course, the surest test for any crimp is a good electrical connection starts with a good mechanical connection. So what you do is you just, once you get off the, I don't like these. These are, I think that came in a big pack. Let's try these. you always want to be able to, I mean, you should be able to tug on a little bit, and it shouldn't come out at all, and it does not. Pull on it with a good amount of force, and it's not coming out. And then, because I happen to know which pin's which, this is going to be for the VJC, the common. I'll leave those a little longer. And I'll pull some of these more back here because I know where they go. I've done enough of these, I know which pin's which. And then you go, this is also a joystick. The whole goal is to electrically make this as close as possible to the original 5200's expected wiring. Orange, go there. Blue is that guy. Red, yellow. 1, 2. When in doubt, look at the schematic. It is yellow, you need green, and violet. Okay. I'll just do a few here and then cut this video off because I don't know how much people are going to watch me cut and strip cabling. This one, orange. If you want to watch me go through and cut, strip, and crimp, let me know in the comments. And I'm sure I can give you hours and hours of that much excitement. So I'll just finish up a couple here. The reason I do that is it likes to get the strips stuck in there. It's the only thing I don't usually use auto strippers, but this one's pretty decent. I personally prefer the manual strippers, but that's neither here nor there. When you're stripping hundreds of wires, you get tired of figuring out the stripping yourself. Let's see if this one's better. Might strip them all, but that's fine. I'll come back to it. Yeah, stripped a little long. That's okay. The only thing I don't want to do is if you go too far with the insulation, you can end up where the wire crimp is supposed to be, the conductor's crimps. Yeah, this is a better batch of IDC connectors. Oh, sorry, DuPont. These are DuPonts. There's DuPonts, there's Molexes. They're all named after the company that developed them. So you see DuPont connectors are a little chunkier than DuPonts. DuPonts are real small, but they're very handy. Like I said, my eyes are just getting old, so it's easier to do with the magnification. These are kind of cool. You can swap out there's actually, this can tip up, and there's another one inside that's even higher magnification. And you could change change it on the fly. And I have a little box over there with even higher magnification, but I'm not that blind yet. This is actually a pretty decent, I mean, there's two different styles of DuPont crimpers like this. These can be used for more than DuPonts. They can be used for other very small crimping jobs. I'll show you the difference between the two and the reason I use this style compared to the less expensive style. So this is, let's do one more. Now I'll insert some of these into the housing and show you. Just bend it out 90, get it in there. Come up with a little bit to grab the crimp. And you go and crimp. Right, so this is the more expensive style. And the reason why, well, of course, it nicely, you have a nice, when you hit the end, it releases. But see how it's a nice linear action going on there? And your traditional, your less expensive version is, oh, it's too big. I have a cheap one. Where's my cheap one go? I probably got angry and tossed it somewhere. Where's my cheap one? Let's see. There you are. This is your more, your less expensive. No, that's, yeah, there it is. Yeah, this is your less expensive style here. And this is, it does also hit the end and release, but see how the jaws come in at an angle? Whereas this has a whole lever system, so it comes up nice and straight. So technically, I mean, this one has a 0.25, both, this one has a 0.3. So this stuff gives me much better crimps than this. I mean, this one works, but it's just, oh, if you're doing lots and lots and lots of these, forget it. It's for the birds, man. It's a little better. If you're ever working with DuPonts, get this style. This is what YEFYM, YE-013BR. Okay. But yeah, I think it's from AliExpress. I like most of my tools are from AliExpress. Some are Amazon, some are Harbor Freight. But a lot of my tools, the reason I just get them off of Ali, you just get a better quality tool for the money. Alright, so let's throw the, I have little bins up here with connectors. So how these work is these are DuPont connectors, and there's actually a little arrow on there. There it is. Alright, there. You see a little arrow at the top there? So I know that's my pin 1, and this is going to go off to my joystick. So you kind of push it in, and there's a little tongue right there that actually clicks in. And once it clicks, it's like it actually gets locked into place. So orange, yellow, green. And then the violet. So the reason I do this is, now this is, you want to make sure you get a good click there, otherwise it can push back. You see, you can actually pull on it. It doesn't come apart. Kick on my joysticks. So when I do the final assembly, I assemble this into the enclosure, the housing that's cut on my CNC. And I go to test it, all I gotta do is just, actually I can show right now. I can plug it in. You'll see it on here. Oh, wrong way. Plug this in, like so. And you can see a corner there. There's your X. It ends and then up, 0, and then all the way down. So there you go. Even though it's just a little sub-assembly, I can still test it. So there, that's how she goes together. Alright, I think that's it for tonight. I'm probably going to keep on stripping and crimping I don't think that's very exciting viewing. I know I wouldn't want to stare at someone stripping and crimping all night long. So everyone, thanks for watching, and have a great day.